I guess there's one here.
And me, the co-creator.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, we did. We're on the last one for now.
Yeah. I think we might do like another video after the Worth the Wait update, and I got all the documents again, or new ones and updated ones, and we'll probably do like another video of coming back to the old ones. Let's see if any have been changed. Next we got special. View documents unrelated to the Hedgel division or Nost subdivision. Next we got Z563, the graveyard.
Wanna know one thing? The Skelepede thing? Why is his head in a dumpster?
I have literally no idea. We'll probably find out. The graveyard. Z563, codename The Graveyard, is the annual anomalous October Skeleton Rage Party, taking place at a redacted graveyard. Hosted by DJ Skeletoons, hereby referred to as Z563-1, Z563 manifests itself in the center of the redacted graveyard. Located in eastern Scotland, Z563-1 and his band of party-going skeletons, hereby referred to as Z563-2, set up a stage and then vandalized the graveyard whilst throwing a party. They then continue partying until the rave was shut down by outside forces, with the longest documented party going on for 16 days before intervention became necessary. With the first Z563 event taking place in 2017, the regional police were dispatched to check out the graveyard, as locals had filed numerous noise complaints in turn discovering the event. Unable to handle the situation, the Scottish government contacted Urban Shade to shut down the event with generous compensation.
Yeah, so people were documenting anomalous. They didn't want them to find the anomaly. Because people knowing about the anomaly was super bad for Urban Shade, so they probably killed the people, I'm guessing.
Yeah, probably, we'll see. Operatives were sent to investigate and shortly after sent in gunships, opting to simply blow up the event area. Z563-1, not taking kindly to our reasonable acts of aggression, started to attack the gunships, knocking it out of the sky. Even though Z563 was blown asunder, the cost of the destroyed gunships marked the endeavor as a net loss. A year later, Z563 manifested once again, with all damage from the previous year restored. The Scottish government contacted Urban Shade once again to shut it down. This time, the event was infiltrated with a bit more caution. Armed with rocket launchers, the operatives were instructed to, and successfully managed to shoot the stage's graveyard sign, ending the rave. As a way to turn the G sign back on, an electrical switch was installed atop the bell tower in a nearby church, as it was becoming increasingly difficult to cover up all the loud explosions. All an operative needs to do is avoid Z564 and make their way to the top of the tower to flip the lever. The way to shut down the graveyard event for good has been discovered, achieved by performing the blood-bone ritual. It is within Urban Shade's best interest to not do so, and will lose out on the yearly governmental raid salary. Addendum.
So they legit are just doing this because they know they'll get paid to shut them down.
Oh yeah, and also it says Z564. I'm assuming Z564 is the bouncer, which we'll read soon. Addendum. Two new anomalous threats were discovered during the 2024 Party Poober expedition. Z565, Skelepede, and Z566, Candle Barriers. Though roaming the same location, there have been no links of infiltrating with Z563.
Oh, it's kind of weird that they didn't mention the literal skeleton guards. But they're about to, though. I'm not gonna lie, these are kind of my favorite skeletons. Because it's kind of funny how they talk, I'm not gonna lie. And also, like, you're violating the dress code! Like, they're violent, I kind of love it. That they're like, you're violating the dress code!
Literally real. Z564, Bouncers. Z564, codename Bouncers, are the local undead enforcers of the yearly redacted graveyard event, serving as bouncers for the annual redacted graveyard event in eastern Scotland, the Z564 instances make sure that every visitor at the graveyard is following the dress code, only appearing during the event. The Z564 instance ensure that the Z563 party is free from trespassers. Seemingly clones of the same corpse, each Z564 instance shares the same body, behavior, and voice. Measuring at an estimated 8 studs, each Z564 instance wears the same uniform, boots, and accessories. Guarding key entry locations to the graveyard. The Z564 instances only become aggressive should the active Z563 event be infiltrated by any person with skin, muscles, and organs.
So you have to be just a skeleton for him to let you by.
Once aggravated, the Z564 instance will chase down the infiltrator until they've left the graveyard premise entirely or until they have been forced to adhere to the dress code. When a victim is caught by a Z564 instance, it will proceed to tear the victim's skeleton out of their body, adding the corpse's former skeleton to the Z563-2 crowd. If a trespasser managed to evade a beatdown for too long, the chasing Z564 instance may sometimes call for backup, causing other Z564 clones to swarm the area in order to kill the trespasser. While strongly impervious to bullets, a direct hit of an explosion is more than enough to destroy a Z564 instance. For the sake of subtlety, however, limiting Z564 instances should only be done as a last resort. Operatives sent to shut down Z563 events are advised to maneuver around their attacks, provided that grenade rifles should only be used in an emergency scenario where operative is about to be beaten to death. Any media cover-up fees about an explosion emanating from the graveyard rave will be deducted from the user's paycheck. When aggravated, a bright red glow can be seen for the Z564 instance's glasses, emitted by their right eye socket. With no Z564 instance so far being willing to participate in an interview, it's simply assumed that they do this because they think they look cool with it.
So they're like the red Sans eye. They do the Sans eye thing. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, when
their eye
aggravated.
glows like Sans. And you can tell he's from Scotland because he's like, you're violating the dress code, and then in a Scottish voice.
It makes sense. The graveyard takes place in Scotland.
Yeah, meaning they do keep their accent when they're dead. Wait, so if that thing happened in Germany, would he sound German? I think they need to test that. I think they need to try to have a graveyard in Germany or somewhere else and see if their voices change or if they stay Scottish.
Z565 Skelipede. Z565, codenamed Skelipede, was a skeleton centipede with a large skull for its head and an elongated spine with ribcage legs. Discovered in 2024 during the annual redacted graveyard event in eastern Scotland. After an EXRP expedition party to shut it down was forced to track through the graveyard's catacombs, after being brought back to base for a debrief, they mentioned a skeleton centipede chasing them through the rain-flooded crypt. Operatives were sent to investigate and sure enough discovered Z565 crawling through the flooded crypt. The centipede was detained and transported to the black site for containment study. Z565 was incredibly aggressive to any and all humans and would try to make its way over to any human to bite them, provided they are submerged in the same body of water as the creature. While fast in a straight line, Z565 is pitiful at turning, slowing down considerably. Z565 is incredibly easy to dodge, simply requiring the target to move slightly to the left or right. Measuring at a 9-stood height when upright and a 36-stood length across, the sheer mass and weight of the creature was not to be underestimated if caught, however. It is currently unknown how durable the creature is, as no tests of the sorts were performed as to not degrade the quality of the upcoming corpse. It is assumed to have served as a protector of a very shallow moat, or more likely served as a failed experimental weapon, due to its laughable ineffectiveness. Outside of shallow water, it is assumed that the creature was abandoned shortly after its creation. However, it found its way towards the graveyard event is how it found its way towards the graveyard event is unknown, and will most likely remain unknown due to the fact that it is widely agreed upon that allocating resources to finding this creature's origin would be a hilarious waste of time, money, and personnel. Z565 was only able to traverse whilst in water, and despite its size, was able to submerge and emerge at any depth higher than 3 studs. If left on land, Z565 would struggle to stand on its many rib legs, seemingly needing the water to keep itself upright. Z565 was placed in a chamber on dry land with several other test subjects. The creature was so heavy that it was unable to even lift its head up. The test, which was originally going to go on for around 3 hours, was cut short around 7 minutes because the personnel who were monitoring the experiment said that the creature's incompetent performance was causing second-hand embarrassment for them as a result. They could not bear to allow it to run its full corpse. When Z565 was submerged, it was assumed that it demanifested and remanifested elsewhere. And any subjects who were bitten assumed would have been pulled under the water, only to be able to stand up with ease afterwards. Even though 200 kilogram skull would have been weighing them down, Curiously, the candles seem to never extinguish or degrade, even when submerged, and the candle's flames will stay lit even when coming out of the water. While it may have been impressive for its time, such an incarnation is considered rudimentary compared to the recent feats achieved by modern magical practices. Z565 has been deemed of no monetary value and has been exterminated. Its corpse was sold to the local CT Towers amusement park to serve as a Halloween decoration, and the never extinguishing candles have been put on display in the break room. Some personnel have noticed that shortly after the creature was sold to the local CT park, its corpse was repeatedly found disposed of outside in a dumpster, presumably due to its weight and unwieldiness.
So wait, they killed it?
Yes.
But like, I'm just wondering, how does it appear in the graveyard then?
The last part of the document probably takes place after the graveyard. Z566 candle barriers. We learned about these guys in a couple of videos ago. About the candle brutes. Z566 codenamed candle barriers are sentient decorative statues that used to litter the redacted graveyard. Discovered in 2024 during the annual Redacted Graveyard event in Eastern Scotland, after an EXRP expedition party sent to shut it down fell into lower levels of the graveyard's catacombs, being brought back to base for a debrief. They mentioned the graveyard's decorative statues in the lower levels becoming aggressive and chasing them through the crypt. Others were sent to investigate and end up discovering the living statues in the lower crypt. All 548 statues inside of the redacted graveyard were detained and transported to the black site for containment study. Each individual Z566 instance is identical in terms of appearance and behavior. Nicknamed candle barriers, after the candles located inside their heads, each statue measures around 16 studs tall, having been around since the graveyard's founding in 1832. Each statue has a very distinct crack on its outer shell on the left side of its body. Due to the lack of proper observation before their containment, it's currently unknown why they seemingly deteriorate at the same pace. Pictures taken and uploaded by graveyard attendees from 2007 to 2024 show the crowd becoming larger as the years progressed. Damage dealt to a statue by human intervention does not carry over to other statues. A candle barrier which was deconstructed revealed only 2 identical components besides stone and blood, those being blood veins and a non-functional heart. X-rays have shown each candle barrier carrying its own unique heart. It's currently unknown why they carry this, but it is believed to be for occult reasons. Z566 instances cannot move while light is cast upon them, natural or artificial. Testing has shown that when light touches an instance's skin, the stone particles harden to prevent light from passing through any small cracks, as light seems to burn it. During a test, a Z56 instance was put under a spotlight, and part of its upper chest was struck with a pickaxe, exposing its blood veins. After being exposed to the light for 36 minutes, the exposed vein burst into flames. After 2 minutes of burning, the fire stopped. Once the light was turned back off, the instance remained inanimate, seemingly having died. Z566 instances are normally dormant and are not hostile to humans. It is only when one is carrying a working light source of any kind that they become hostile. If they spot a human with a working light source, they will start chasing the individual and attempt to bludgeon them to death with their rock arms. If the light source be out of batteries or is broken, it will be ignored. It's currently unknown how the statues know when a light source is empty or broken. Further study is needed. Should a Z566 instance be stunned by an individual for too long, seemingly through willpower alone, it will snap out of its frozen state and become extremely agitated, lighting its head candle for blue flame. During this state, Z566 is not able to be frozen and chases the light barrier at faster speeds than before. After a short while, this effect wears off, and an instance can be frozen once again. This only seems to happen if it's frozen by an individual rather than with fixed light sources. Z566 has been deemed of no monetary value, and the candle barriers are now being sold at the novelist auctions.
So it seems like they just get pissed. Like they get pissed at you for holding a light on them. Because they're not getting let. No, it seems like they're getting pissed that you're just holding the light on them, so they're just getting really pissed and they'll just snap out of it and just get into a blood-full rage, but it wears off eventually. Because it seems more like they're getting pissed at you for doing it. But also, it's kind of sad if those are like the babies of the broods. That means they killed one of the babies just to see what happened. And then sold their babies off. It's kind of fucked up, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, so living creatures at an auction and probably separated them because they probably didn't give a shit. But yeah, guys, make sure to
like,
subscribe.
gotta go start streaming. Bye bye.
Bye bye.